Hi, my name is Shabil. In this video, I'll be demonstrating my solution for Bukku's front-end technical assignment. This web application is built using Next.js, styled with Tailwind CSS, and uses reusable components from Shadsi and UI. It's also powered by TurboPack for faster and optimized performance, and I have deployed this app using Vercel. So this app is called WAC Inventory Tracker. It is a system for tracking purchases and sales of single item using the weight average cost method. So at the top of the page, you can see 5 cards, which is the quantity on hand, the value on hand, the average cost per unit, the total net earnings, and the total transactions. This is all are the summary cards. And below that, there are 2 forms, which is one for recording new purchases and one for recording sales, which we have 3 inputs, which is date, quantity, and the unit price. As for the bottom part, we have transaction records, which are separated by all, by purchases, and by sales. Right now, we have 0 because we don't have any transaction yet. Now, let me show you how it works using the same example from the assignment. First, I will add purchase 1st of January, and then the quantity will be 150 for RM2 each. So as you can see here, we have a unique transaction ID, and the total amount will be 300, and the average cost is 2 ringgit. As well as the summary part, we already have right now 150, 300, and 2 ringgit. Next, I will add another purchase on 5th of January. 10 units at 1.5 ringgit each. As you can see here, I have added 15 ringgit to the total amount of our value on hand. And also the average cost will falls down to 1.97, rounded to the nearest decimal 2 places. And the quantity on hand, we have 160. After that, I'll record a sale on 7th of January, which we sold 5 units at 4 ringgit. So as you can see here, we can see the total amount that we sold for 20 ringgit, and the total cost for this 20 ringgit is 9 ringgit 85 cents, and we can see the net earnings, which is 10 ringgit 15 cents. So the average cost that has been used in this transaction is 1.97, and the available quantity on hand become 155. So as you can see on the top part, on the summary cards, we can see the total net earnings 10 ringgit 15 cents. So if I put another date that we sold for a cheaper price, which is 1 ringgit, we can see that we have lost 4 ringgit 85 cents because the total cost is 9 ringgit, but we sold for cheaper, and we can see here. So the total net earning also, we can see here, will be decreased. Furthermore, I've also implemented validation rules. For example, you cannot oversell the inventory. So as you can see here, we have 150, and when I try to add any dates after then 150 for any selling price, it will show an error, which only 150 available on this date. We cannot sell more than it. Last but not least, we cannot add a transaction, whether a purchase or sales, that already exists, which is, let's say, the 1st January. I'm going to replicate it, and we will show error because the transaction already exists. Same for this one also, cannot if I put a purchase like 3rd of January. It also will throw an error. For the bonus feature, I've implemented support for random transaction dates, and the system automatically recalculates everything, values based on the quantity availability. For example, if I add a date over here, around between the 1st January and 5th January. Let's say I add 2nd January and I'm gonna sold around 10 for 5 ringgit. And you can see here it automatically updates and recalculates everything. So now the total net earnings also will be recalculated. Other than that, I also can add new purchase on a random date. Let's say 3rd of January. I can add a new quantity which is 20 and unit price is 5. So when I record the purchase, all of the transaction will be recalculated also. As you can see here also recalculates into more negative values, and this is lesser because I have add more expensive unit price when we purchase here. Secondly, I have also implemented edit and deletion, while also cater for the validation rules for it based on the form input on the top, which is if I try to delete this purchase transaction, it should give me an error because there are sale below after it, which will go to negative because they have a sale that have more quantity after the purchase date, and it will lead to a system error by letting the inventory to become negative. So basically the system will check that. But if I delete the purchase date that will not leave a negative inventory, the system will allow it and automatically computes the new values in the record table. Let's say I delete 10. So now it is successfully deleted and all the values are calculated back. But we can easily delete the sale, which is I can delete here, and it should be no problem. For the editing part, the same validation rules apply. You cannot increase a sale quantity beyond what was available that time, which is, let's say I want to increase to 500, which obviously we don't have, and the inventory will go negative. But then if I put normal amount, it should pass. Now we have 60 quantity on hand and we still have a quantity. Let's say I want to delete a quantity. I can increase it, but then I cannot reduce a purchase quantity below what has been sold, which for this case maybe put 40, and yeah, it will be prompt error. So overall, the system handles all the core use cases, the edge cases, and the bonus requirements from the assignment. I think that's all from me. Thank you for watching.